to face the truth of where you are. So my job is to get to the truth. What is it? Where are you? How did you get there?
My name is Andrew Stephen Rose. Welcome to the show. For years, I've been known as the gym guy. This show isn't about the gym. Some of it might be, but most of it's about business. It's about health. It's about your life, your relationships, and optimizing all of it to be the best you can be. Maybe a year ago or so, maybe a little bit longer, I had some people helping me with my social media marketing, and they did a lot of videoing, a lot of content creation for me. And it was we were sitting in my apartment, and we had been filming off and on all day long, and it was a little later at night. And I actually had a client that was in from out of town, and he was a part of it too. And it was a very important moment and an important message, but I really wasn't sure at the time why. I knew it was impactful, and we were talking about fitness. We were talking about training and nutrition, and the topic that I was talking about at that moment was facing the truth of where you really are. And today, what I want to talk about, obviously this relates to fitness, relates to nutrition and training, and especially this time of year, right? I've posted ad nauseum about this being one of the most difficult times of the year as it pertains to fitness related goals. But there's a bigger picture here, and it's being honest. It's being honest about where you are. So facing the truth of where you really are. I wrote a few notes down before I started recording. And one of the things I wrote was, it's not so much facing the truth of where you are, but also admitting how you got to where you are. Facing the truth of where you are currently, but also admitting what led you to where you are. It's not as simple as saying, well, I'm in this place, and you're fighting that battle. I'm in a place where I don't want to be. I'm experiencing outcomes I don't want to experience. This is not the desired outcome that I want. It's one thing to face that and to call it out, black and white. I do not like where I am. But it's a whole nother thing to take a look at yourself and go, what have I done that has led me to this uncomfortable place that I don't want to be? And it's so easy to point fingers at everybody and everything else. And I've talked about this before when I talk about radical accountability. And I think it's a point that needs to be driven home a little bit more. Some of you listening to this, whether this is a fitness related, health related, career related, or even a relationship related thing, you are not where you want to be. And the decisions that you're making, the stories that you're telling yourself, or the stories that you're telling other people, are they in fact the truth? Or are they misguided? What do you think about that for a minute? So you find yourself in a situation where you don't want to be. As unpleasant as it may be, that is where you are. It's no one's fault but your own. When I find myself in situations where I am uncomfortable with where I am, if I am unhappy with the outcome, if I'm unhappy with what I'm experiencing at that given moment in time, it is purely by my own action or inaction that has led me to that place. That's hard to admit. It is far easier to lie to yourself, to escape the blame, the burden of guilt, so to speak. Not that this is about guilt or innocence. Let's not misconstrue that. But you're in a situation currently that you're trying to control. It's an outcome that you are trying to affect. And it's not going the way that you want it to go. Is that because of outside forces? Or is it because of your own decisions? I recorded a podcast a while ago, not that long, but indecision is a decision. I think I titled it, "If it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no." Whatever situation you are battling right now, whether it be relationship related, work or career related, your fitness, your health and fitness goals, if it's related to one of those things, take a really good hard look at the decisions that you've made and the stories that you've told yourself about why you are where you are. And conversely, what you've told yourself in terms of what you deserve. What outcome do you deserve? Like, and if we're being honest here, the outcome that you want, if your intentions are good, of course, the outcome that you want, you deserve it. 100%. You want to reverse the effects of your diabetes? You deserve to do that. You want to be successful in business, or you want to start a new business? You deserve to be able to do that, and you deserve to succeed in that. You want to change your relationship? You want to build a stronger one? You deserve that. But you also should ask yourself why you haven't experienced that. What's holding you back from making that a reality? It's not other people or other places or things or timing or any of that. I truly believe that when you want something in this life, you manifest it, you will get it. But it may not be when you're ready for it. Because in order not just to achieve that outcome, but to preserve it, to experience it for a lengthy period of time, you have to be ready to receive it. You have to be prepared to nurture it, to work on it, to build it. You know, if you get a brand new muscle car and you don't take care of it, you don't nurture it, right? You don't hand wash it. You don't change the oil on a regular basis. You don't take care of it. It will deteriorate. If you just lost 100 pounds, your diet, exercise, and you change your daily habits and you've succeeded. If you don't take care of that result, you will lose it. If it's a certain caliber of relationship that you want, once you have it, or once you've tasted it, if you don't nurture it, you will lose it. So the message that I want to convey in the time that you're listening to this today is, what is the outcome that you want? And have you experienced that outcome either currently Are you currently experiencing it? Or is it something that you've had in the past that you want to find again? All of the tools to succeed in any of these areas, business, your life, relationships, your fitness, you have all of the tools, or you have access to the resources that will show you how to use those tools. But if what you have done in the past has not resulted in the desired outcome that you want, if you continue to repeat the same behaviors, if you continue to reinforce the same habits, you will never experience it again. So, whatever the outcome is, take a look at the things that have caused you to lose that result, to lose that outcome, or lose sight of it. What are they? And when you face the truth in where you really are and where it is that you really want to be, and what you need to do to accomplish that, what you need to do to experience that for the first time, or to experience that again on an even greater level. When you face the truth, what you see staring back at you in the mirror is not pretty. If you're being honest with yourself. I know in my own life, when I look back in any of these areas, training, business, life, relationships, any time that I have not had the outcome, or I'm not currently experiencing the outcome that I want, when I take a good look at why I'm not where I want to be, the answer is never pretty. The answer is really hard to admit. But I know that in order to get to the level that I want to get to, for you to get to the level that you want to get to, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be ugly. You're going to have to rip off Band-Aids for wounds that aren't healed. I remember back when I used to race a bicycle. I was on a training ride, and I was in traffic, and there was a section of pavement that had been repaired, but the repair wasn't finished yet, so it was loosely packed gravel, which normally would be fine. I had traffic to my left side, and I had to go through the gravel. And as I was going through the gravel, one of my tires popped. Lost control of my bike, which means I ate shit in gravel. So it just tore me apart. And I remember as the adrenaline sort of dies down a little bit, and it was a hot summer day, so I was sweaty, covered in dirt, I'm bleeding. And as I sat there waiting for a ride, those wounds started to heal. The blood starts to dry a little bit. Your body starts that healing process. But my body wasn't prepared to heal at that point. So what I had to do when I got home was probably an hour and a half later. Those wounds had to be scrubbed open, which is an incredibly painful process. Had I not done that, there's a chance I could have got an infection or whatever. But let's just say that those wounds healed as they were. Now I've got gravel in my skin and dirt, and will they heal? Yeah, they'll heal, but they're not going to heal the right way. They're not going to heal completely. So it had to be done in that moment was you get in the shower and you get a rag and you scrub those wounds open, and it is one of the most painful things you can do, because the initial pain of the accident had faded. It still hurt. I was sore. I'm just thinking, oh, some scrapes and cuts. It was pretty bad. It was all over my side of my body and my back. And in that moment, the last thing I wanted to do was expose those wounds again, to scrub them open, to clean them out. But that's what had to be done in order for my body to heal 100%. So I'd be back to normal. I think our experiences in life are the same. If you're in the middle of a traumatic experience, or you're in the middle of experiencing an outcome that you don't like, you can't let it heal without exposing the shit. Those rocks and the gravel and that nasty shit that I picked up from the side of the road, that's an analogy of the truth. You have to expose the truth. And only when you do that can you heal. So then I could recover, I could train again, and I could compete in a race that I had coming up. But in order for me to get there, it almost felt like I had to take a step back. I couldn't ride for a while. My hip was all messed up, and I got bandages everywhere, and it was painful. But it healed, and it healed completely. And I don't have any reminders of that anymore. There's no scars from that accident. I don't have any gravel left in my skin. So it's really, and this isn't an experience that I had planned to talk about. It just kind of naturally flowed with this conversation. When you are in the middle of whatever you're in the middle of, and you want to change it, sometimes you have to do the thing that you don't want to do. You have to admit the things that you don't want to admit. What were your shortcomings? Where did you fail? Were you dishonest? Were you dishonest with yourself? Did you lie to yourself about where you were? About how you got there? Did you try to blame other people for what you did or didn't do? Because ultimately, the responsibility falls on your shoulders. And ultimately, only you can change that. So once you admit the reality of where you are, that isn't enough. Admitting that you are 100 pounds overweight because you haven't taken care of yourself and you eat a shitty diet, that doesn't change anything. That just admits where you are. Admitting that you're not in a relationship that is fulfilling to you is not enough. It's when you admit how you got there. And then on the flip side of that, how you're going to change. And to take it one step more, it's actually implementing a plan, as painful as it may be, to facilitate the changes that you need to facilitate in order to experience the outcome that you want. it's not some simple yellow brick road, easy path. If there's one thing I know for sure, that in any of these areas, the path to the success that you want to experience is not and will never be easy. It's going to be scary as fuck. It's going to be painful. You're going to have to face some demons. Or you can choose not to. And you will continually repeat the same outcome over and over and over again. And if you're okay with that outcome, that's fine. But if you're being honest with yourself and it's not the outcome that you want, maybe it's time to scrub the wounds open a little bit. And it's gonna fucking hurt. You can hide from it. You can be a poser and pretend like everything's fine. It's all good. Or you can admit, like, man, this is a fucked up situation. I don't want to be here. And then you get the washcloth out, you get the soap out, and you scrub that shit open. And you deal with that pain. And you keep that wound clean. And you watch it heal. The longer that you've let it sit, the longer that you've let it heal in an unhealthy way, the longer it will take to repair itself. But it will repair itself. I assure you of that. So ask yourself if you're happy with the outcome that you're experiencing. And if the answer is no, are you prepared to scrub open that wound as to what has caused you to experience the outcome that you're in? Are you prepared for that pain? Are you prepared for that discomfort? And are you prepared for the time it's going to take to become whole? And truthfully, if your answer is no, that's okay. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Only you can decide when you're ready. Only you can decide when you've had enough. I've had enough of this experience. And the longer that it's gone on, understand this, because you are free to do it. But understand, the longer that you wait, the more time passes before you commit to making the change and doing the dirty work, so to speak, the more painful it's going to be. Eventually, the outcome will be there. Eventually, you will heal. Your body will heal. But be prepared for it. The longer it goes on, the longer it's going to take to become whole. And if you haven't experienced that yet, and that's something that you're seeking, you have to ask yourself if you are ready now for it. Or do you need to experience disappointment more? You already know what that outcome feels like. If there is more comfort in this outcome, and conversely, more fear of the pain of change. I'm paraphrasing someone's quote here. I don't know who. I know I've heard it. When the discomfort of your current reality is less than your fear of what it's going to take to change it. Am I saying that right? When your comfort in the current reality is more rewarding than confronting the fear of change. You'll never change. But when you look at the fear of change and you admit that once you go through that discomfort, however long it's going to take, you will forget the comfort of your current reality. So is it the fear of change, the fear of that pain, or is it the comfort of the current reality that you don't even want? Which one's going to guide you? Because if you've constantly chosen this one and you've yet to experience the reality that you deserve, that you rightfully deserve, why are you going to continue to repeat these behaviors when all you have to do is experience some fucking pain? That pain will not last forever, but it will be worth it. So ask yourself that question. Are you comfortable enough in your current reality that you don't even want? So much that you won't confront the pain of change, the discomfort? Would you rather let that wound heal or take the chance of scrubbing it open and being in immense pain, but knowing that once that wound does heal, you will be whole? I can't answer that question for you. I can only speak from my own experience. When I've scrubbed that wound and it has healed, I have been better for it. And when I have sat in my current reality, as uncomfortable as it may be, there is a certain amount of comfort in it. But when I have sat in that, experiencing an outcome that I don't want, you always eventually regret not scrubbing that wound open. And the longer I've waited, the more painful it is. It's going to hurt either way. The pain of not experiencing the outcome that you want, or the pain that you have to go through in order to be on the path to experiencing exactly what it is you deserve. You have the freedom to choose. Choose wisely. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for listening to the show. Whether you watched it on YouTube, whether you streamed it on whatever podcast streaming service you choose, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. This show has been a blast to bring back. I'm enjoying everybody that I'm speaking with, and I'm having a blast making the content that I'm making for you guys. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm here. As you may already know, I'm a coach. I've been a coach for over 20 years, and I've recently changed a lot of how I approach my coaching and the coaching program that I offer. So if that's something you want to know a little bit more about, click on the link in the bio. Check out what I'm about. And once I've gained your trust, let's talk about working together. Thanks again.